Hey everybody, spring in California. Enjoy the beauty of my secret garden here. We're going to talk about beautiful 70s blonde, very popular in the 70s, Suzanne Somers. And we're going to dig into her soul journey a little bit deeper video today. And I'm on a spiritual path in metaphysics and religious science. So I'm drawn to spiritual celebrities like Shirley MacLaine or Suzanne Somers. And the story begins for me when she wrote a book called Keeping Secrets. And this details a horrific childhood in the 60s, late 50s, 60s, growing up with her dad as a full-blown alcoholic. They were this big Irish Catholic family in San Francisco area. And the dad worked for a beer factory and got free beer. And he was able to pull it together, keep his job, put a paycheck and put food on the table, but emotionally he was a basket case. And the nights were filled with screaming and yelling and harassment and bullying and fighting. And this goes on for page after page in her book, Keeping Secrets. It's excruciating, but you have to read it. You have to understand what really goes on inside of an alcoholic family. And because there's so many in society. And she, took a hit for the team and allowed the world into her childhood home. And, she kept secrets for a long time, but this book is about revealing secrets, and that's part of the healing process. And they were all codependent, and it's the first part of the book. It's a really tough, sad, dramatic read that's necessary, and so eventually she's able to climb out of hell and get her own little apartment, and she immediately becomes pregnant, and then she's kind of forced into an early marriage, and then divorces and is a struggling single mom for years in San Francisco, trying to model and act, and when there's very little up there. And this is around 1970 era. So really struggling, and she takes you through all of that. And finally meets Alan Hamill, who's a well-known television personality and very smart, and is able to help her, give her guidance in her career and stability in her personal life. And eventually she moves to LA and she gets a big break. She's the blonde and the T-Bird in a little film, a little B movie called American Graffiti. But it took off, and it tapped into a whole generation, kind of dealing with growing up in the 50s. And it's an incredible movie. And every single actor became a big star in that movie. Talk about a lucky charm, including Suzanne Somers. So she was the mystery blonde in the car in that movie, and that gave her a little calling card to go to Hollywood. That one little thing, and somehow she got into Johnny Carson, and he was really charmed by her, and she wrote a book of poetry. I mean, this is no dumb blonde. This is a smart blonde. You learn that very quickly when you go into Suzanne Somers' world. So finally, she goes on all these auditions and pilots, and I think she does like 10 pilots. And most sitcoms, I mean, they never sell. It's just so difficult to get the right chemistry and script together. And she's about to quit, and finally her agent is like, they want you for this, they want to see you for this thing, this Three's Company, kind of a sexy comedy. And that really changed the television landscape, putting all kinds of sexual innuendo and a gay man living with two women onto prime time. I mean, this was something new. We had just come out of the Brady Bunch and the Partridge Family, okay? So times were changing, and this was 76. The late 70s was a lot different than the early 70s, and a lot more racy material, R-rated, and cable R-rated movies started to appear in people's households. You could get cable and get R-rated. So I think television realized they had to compete with that. So Three's Company is a big, huge hit, and for about 4 years, and she eventually decides she wants a rightly deserved pay raise and asks for a lot more money. And it's a shame they couldn't compromise. Usually you go back and forth and compromise, but there was some sort of blood feud or grudge, and it had to do with lawyers, and believe it or not, it was almost like payback for Laverne and Shirley, because they had gotten a huge raise, and the networks wanted to put a stop to this, to actors getting big raises. So it was all complicated. And bottom line is they fired her. They wanted to make her like a scapegoat in the industry and tell actors to stop asking for so much money. It was just a whole power play thing. And so, it led to depression and anxiety. A lot of her old feelings came back up. And really, she's a scrapper. She's a fighter. She dusted herself off and said, what can I do? How do I make lemonade out of lemons, And she could sing and dance. And she went to Las Vegas and just started working her butt off, and became a big entertainer in Vegas, and hung around and started getting TV movies again. She was in Hollywood Wives. She played a real vixen. I would recommend watching that one if you want to check out some of Suzanne Somers' work. And eventually she got another big sitcom. She hung in there, and it was called Step by Step. And that was a 90s sitcom. And she played the mom of a big family, and it was a huge popular hit. So it's a rare thing to get another successful series to come back and strike lightning twice. And she did it. She's talented. But her soulful journey is she kept writing all these books and talking about personal development and alternative health. And she's really opened the eyes to a lot of people. She doesn't claim to be a doctor, but what she's good at is interviewing doctors. One thing a Hollywood celebrity has is the best access to the best healers in the world. They just do. All of the best doctors, and they all gravitate around Malibu and Hollywood, and that's just how it is. And if you have the right money and access, you can get these best doctors. And so she interviews them for the book. And briefly, what her main thesis is kind of like that we lose hormones as we grow older, and you need to supplement them with hormone therapy. And she has a lot of excellent ideas and concepts about organic food, and she's taken off and created this whole other industry for herself. And good for her, for Alan and Suzanne being these powerful business people that have a huge company now. And I think she's written like 25 books or something. I mean, she really took it and ran with it and became a real a health icon. And even overcame cancer, and has books on that. And I definitely recommend starting with her book Keeping Secrets, and then pick and choose anything after that. I mean, any one of her books on healthy living and cookbooks and that kind of thing. She made a few more TV movies in the 90s, and ended up kind of focusing on her writing and being an author and lecturer. So it's a real hero's journey, her story, and just how she overcame so much and is such a tenacious person. And I strongly recommend kind of digging into her story for personal inspiration. It's helped me a lot. And like I said, I'm on a metaphysical path, and I belong to the Church of Religious Science, which combines East and West. And, I wanted to share a little bit about that in one of my videos, somehow kind of work it in to share a little bit about me. And that's why I try to keep this channel positive and not get into, I try to put a positive spin or a fun spin on these memories. And I'll leave it at that, and enjoy my store at downpeppertreelane.com. I have some cool items for sale. And try to find Three's Company on video. It's a fantastic physical farce, and great writing and dialogue and acting and comedy. And if you need a little bit of pick-me-up or joy in your life, you can always watch a 30-minute episode of Three's Company. All right, take care. Bye-bye.